500 years ago, that's the time when scientists started to discover about the Earth moving around the sun and all this stuff. But actually, 3,000 years before that, when the book of Job was written, it was already mentioned there that the Earth is suspended over nothing.
A lot of people just think that faith and science are two different things. Science is a method. Walang truth giver sa science eh. It's like natural science is a discovery. Our understanding of it changes as we learn more about the details.
Faith and hope during this time, I think we can start with reminding ourselves again, this pandemic that we see, even God is being heartbroken during this time at gusto niya i-restore itong mga bagay na to.
Tina, okay, we're gonna check back with you. I think you maybe started off as like, I don't know, guys, I don't really want to talk about this. I'm a little shaky still and all that. After having discussed all this, how do you feel?
I'm good. All good here.
This podcast is powered by Podcast Network Asia and Podmetrics. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Narador Podcast. Come on in. It is episode number 83. We're really excited today because we have finally wrapped our Parable series and we are turning over a new leaf over to our listener questions series, or maybe you're a viewer because we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify. However you are encountering the show, thank you so much for being here. My name is Sam O.
I'm Tina Ryan, and with us...
Yes! Okay. Tina, go for it. Please.
Kung si Tina Ryan, nag-uulat, wala man.
She's doing that.
Brother JPaul Hernandez from The Feast, and from New Heaven and New Earth, Instructor Harold.
That's right.
And
Okay.
Pastor Dennis of Victory can't make it because of technical issues, so we'll just talk about him during this episode.
It is what we do when one of you is absent.
He's absent.
Yes. Yeah, he's having like internet problems today. And I had that a few days ago. And I felt so lost, guys. I think when you're just home, you're trying not to step out and you're just connecting to everything and everyone through the internet. And when that's taken away, you're just like, I have nothing. Can we just talk about how extra Tina is today? If you guys are watching us on YouTube, why did you tie your hair? You curled your hair today.
I know.
And she's
pinali ko,
wearing...
diba?
Diba?
Okay, guys. Just because, there, diba?
Oh.
I felt like the first pandemic, I didn't really learn anything. Not even put makeup on. So, parang today, nag-extra effort ako to do my hair. Which is, parang, I feel it's such a task. Parang, especially pag may hosting, Sam, you can relate. Parang, I want someone to do my hair.
Right.
Yeah.
Brother Jay can relate now with his long hair.
More body than mine, Brother Jay. So, anyway, ayan. So, I just like, hey, there's no excuse to look ugly because there's already a pandemic, sabi nga ni ate.
Oh, you wouldn't be ugly if you tried, Tina.
Yeah,
but if you guys are catching us on the YouTube, I mean, she curled her hair today. She has on a hot pink blazer.
Yes, because my clothes are starting to smell. No. So I had to later when I make dilig my plans, I'm gonna wear my different... Oh, the blazer you got me. Yes. Guys, binigyan ko ni Sam ng blazer na kasya na ngayon dahil pumayat ako.
You did?
Wow.
Yes. Nasasarado ko na yung button.
Oh my gosh,
so
Tina. Keeping it so real.
Next
Thank
week,
you.
sabihin nyo, magpa-pants, mag-jeans ako next week. Just to, para lang sumulit. 2 weeks na ako naiiwan sa pormahan eh. Last week, naka-lashes kayo. Ngayon, nakabihis kayo.
Ay, naka-lashes pa rin kami, Brother Jay.
Kaya nga, I mean, parang pa-upgrade ng pa-upgrade. So ako, yung first upgrade ko will be jeans and then slowly figure it out paano rin umakyat until naka-suit and tie na ako. Yan ang gusto.
Pero nagpa-perfume ka naman di ba? Ikaw lang naman yung nagpa-perfume sa amin eh. So,
Oh my gosh, oo nga.
yes. Insta Harry also looking sharp. I like
I
this
know, right?
looking casual.
Sobrang
beach
Gen Z
vibe.
looking, brother.
Yeah.
Yep,
Parang hipster.
I
Hipster
know.
vibes. Hipster vibes. I
May
love
term
it.
yung youth ministry namin dyan that I cannot share on an ecumenical podcast.
Why? Well, now
Pero
that you said that,
kinakabahan
you
ako.
have to. What is
Oo
it?
nga.
If it's battle,
Okay.
edit it out.
Okay. Boy, look yan eh.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, never mind.
Adi-
Never mind an ecumenical podcast as a preacher. Like, you just shouldn't use that word. Brother Jay!
Sinabi niyo, pinir-pressure niyo ako. Eh, sinasabi
Pinilit
na,
siya
Oh
tapos
my
like,
gosh!
oo nga. Grabe, ano ka, Sadducee?
We're
Hindi ko
so
yun-
scandalized. We're so scandalized.
Yan yung words ng mga bata and you just have to you have to learn it eh.
Grabe.
Kasi kung hindi, nako, alis
Oh.
ng simbahan.
No,
Of course, I don't say it to them.
You kind of have to learn what the younger generation is thinking. Kasi otherwise, you can never keep up.
Part of preaching, it's part of like connecting to the crowd.
You know what? It's interesting that you guys bring that up because I think this new series that we're doing, the listener questions series, when I first brought it up to Brother Jay, he said, "Oh, good. This is the pulse of the people." And I think this is our opportunity to just kind of see what everyone is wondering about. What are they thinking about? What are the questions that they have in mind? And try to discuss that on the show as well. So yeah, I'm super looking forward to this. And so what I did was I posted an Instagram story with a question sticker and told them, hey, if you guys have any questions about God or faith, religion, Bible, whatever, ask away. And I got a bunch of really interesting ones. And
Exciting.
and so I lumped a couple of them together for this one episode because I think they're related, right? So we're gonna get to that. Also, on the last episode, we were also talking about how maybe we can help out local businesses by plugging them a little bit on the show. What do we have today? Do you guys have anything? I do want to keep this segment brief though, because the mental image I have in my head is like Jesus flipping tables in the temple. You guys turned it into a marketplace. You know, like I don't want us to be that. Just really quick, you know, just like a little shout out and how much we appreciate them and invite our viewers and listeners to try them out. Check them out.
Ako, guys, I have to say thank you to everyone at Moose_Corner.
Who's corner?
Oh, Moose Corner. On Instagram, it's Moose_Corner.
Mm.
I sent some cheesecake balls to Sam to try. And she loved it. And Brother JPaul, I'll send you next time. Insta Harry,
I
siya
love
na yung
dessert.
sa'yo kasi we have to drive it all the way to Etivac. Paplanuhin namin ni Sam ang road trip for that.
Gusto ko yung Etivac.
Diba? Etivac
Nag-isip
represents.
at din naman si Brother G.
Ganito dapat here.
Southside. Etivac. The Southside.
Alam mo, with that, Tina, alam mo, sobrang tawan-tawa yung mga singles, yung mga volunteers namin. Kasi nag-affirman sila, sa kalam, parang 2 weeks na ako, kunyari, gets ko. Tapos parang gumagayan lang ako. Tapos one time, nag-uusap sila, malakas pala yun.
Yes. Ikaw lang ang sakalam.
Yung pride ko kasi ayaw tanongin, ano ba yung sabihin na sa kalam?
Oh my God.
At least in ka na ngayon, Brother JPaul. So I promise to send you Moose Corner cheesecake balls very, very soon, guys. But yeah, you know, ating featured product of the week. And it's really yummy.
Yeah, I've tried them.
man.
It's really good. I like how, because they're cheesecake and they're in, you know, the shape of tiny balls. Am I like
Round.
5 years old? Like, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me?
They're round. So they're like, parang ano lang, no? Isang kagatan.
Take two.
Please go to Jesus tonight, huh? All of us. I think we need our hearts and minds to be purified.
It's Brother G's fault for setting the tone with that word, man. I'm just kidding. Okay. I like how they're small portions, essentially, of cheesecake, right? And so you get to try. Brother J, why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
Kasi yung ano mo from the original word to the second word.
Be
parang,
quiet.
Galing, diba?
I'm gonna edit that out.
You're a
So,
pro. You're
we
a pro.
They are small, round portions of cheesecake, essentially. And so you get to try different flavors. You have the original, you have the cookies and cream, you have the dark chocolate. And then it's also like portion control because sometimes you don't want to commit to an entire slice. What is wrong with you guys?
No, because
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Ito na lang gagamitin ko. Ito na lang. Sorry.
Can
Ang
do we
kapal
have
nitong jacket ko, guys.
very dalagang Filipina yung pagkabukas niya nung fan eh. Pagbukas ng gano'n, nabasa ko rin kagad.
Do we have an exorcist on call? I mean,
I'm so sorry, guys.
what is happening? Oh, wait, I'm crying.
Guys, sorry. Wait lang.
Baka yung
Ito na lang, ito
kabila.
na lang. It's the Harry. Pwede
Ayan,
na ba to?
GGSS.
Yan.
Okay pa yan. Ay, sakto yan, sakto yan.
All right, are we done laughing it off?
Yeah.
Okay,
I think
okay.
so.
Yeah, I mean, we can't include like all parts of what happened, but essentially what happened was Tina over here busted out a fan and there was a huge cuss word on it. And I don't know how much of it we can actually include in the episode, guys, but we will try. We're done laughing it off, yes?
Yes. And
All right.
yeah, that's
Okay.
my bad. Sorry. I was looking for
Alright.
the other one. Kasi,
Yeah. Let us get started on our first listener questions episode. And by far, the most popular question was, where is God during this time of pandemic? Right? A lot of people, I'm sure, are wondering about that. Why is all of this happening? It's going on for so long. Why is he letting the suffering drag on? Which I thought may be related to another question. How do you even know God is real anyway, in the first place? How do we know God is real? And if he is real, where is he during this time of pandemic? And to cap off the discussion, I thought we could include the question, how do we keep our faith and hope at this time? So, you guys ready?
gosh, I don't like that
Yes.
question.
Which one?
Because I'm gonna, ano, is God even real?
Where are you on that one, Tina? Bilang you're the seeker.
Yun na nga eh. Being a seeker, and lately having you guys and all my Bible studies, I've been in a really good place. But then pag naririnig ko yung ganyang question, parang nawawala ako sa ayos. Gets nyo? Parang
Bakit?
bigla ako nalolost ulit. Kasi syempre, naghahanap pa rin ako eh. Parang yung faith ko is very, very like kindergarten. Diba? So, oo. When you sent me that, I mean, I was a bit excited at the same time. I was really scared again. And so many questions in my mind.
But I think there are very convincing arguments for God. And that's what we're going to get into today. And
Yeah.
I don't know where you guys are gonna come from. It's the Harry and Brother J, theological, biblical, all that is fine. But maybe we can get started on the logical argument for God.
I'm gonna come from a chismis chat standpoint.
That's a position I wasn't considering. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I just love yung question ni Tina. I can't go to the details, but let me share a conversation that I had many years ago. This guy was a known preacher. Not Brother Bo, okay? So, but kilala siyang preacher, and then in a very vulnerable moment, he shared to me that for many years, and there are moments until that time of his life, that he doubts heaven.
Wow, so
As in,
honest.
kaya nga hirap i-share ko sino nagsa. Pero he was sharing it to me in a very vulnerable state. Hindi yung like talagang kini-question niya in a way na what. Pero yun, very 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 vulnerable siya that those are sometimes his fears or questions. So yun lang. Because this just sharing that, Tina, because you're not weird.
Oh.
It doesn't help her doubt, though, that maybe there is
Yeah,
Yo
but I
God.
think that's where I always come from, eh, 'di ba? From episode 1 onwards, na it's okay to doubt it. Oh, it's okay to ask questions. And I was actually looking for, hinahanap ko the other day when you sent the discussion sa episodes we discussed this question. And I think I want to go to a more scientific standpoint ngayon
Yes.
na um, a lot of people just think that faith and science are two different things. That science is the ultimate
Truth.
lawyer leader. Yeah. But here's the thing, Sam and friends. Sam and friends para kang banda. Um, Science is a method. Walang truth giver sa science, eh. It's like natural science is a discovery. Yung the more we learn, 'di ba, like for example si paring Albert na may na-realize siya na may mali pala kay paring Newton. So
Si
science
parang
builds upon
Albert
each.
Einstein pala to.
So science keeps on, it does not evolve, eh. Our understanding of it changes as we learn more about the details. So like for example, so that's it. So how can you separate it from faith? Because both faith and science are conceptual ideas. Math, all of it's in our head. It's an understanding that we have. So if like we really go deep into the scientific method of searching and searching, so how can things exist without a creator? Pag talagang, as in like, I am nerd like that, and talagang, alam mo yun, I've
I
had
like
that,
that. I like
yung
that.
talagang, kinwestiyon ko, just for the sake of questioning. And the fun thing, especially for Catholics, is that there are thousands of people who have asked these questions ahead of me. And ito, maganda kasi, yung Catholic studies, hindi lang for Catholics yan, for all Christians yan. Na talagang, okay, ito na pala yung research na nahanap nila. And with that, let's go to a little bit more micro. Are you saying that, because let's talk about neuroscience, ah.
Oh my gosh.
Every
My
thought,
my my expertise, yes. Neuroscience.
every thought that we have, every thought, whether subconscious, conscious, every thought that we have, a synapse fires. There's an electric current in our brain that transmits to all over our body. Kaya sinasabi nila, doon na na-prove yung concept na your thoughts become things, your words become your world. Kasi your whatever, Gen Psych 101, your thoughts, pag paulit-ulit, your mind, your body starts to believe it. So it changes different areas in your whatever. If we're all logic and science lang, why do we have an understanding of beauty? Why do we have an understanding of good? Because if we're all electric currents and meat bags, how do we have those moments of, because God is the creator of beauty. Kasi kung logic lang tayo, pero wala, hindi natin maintindihan. It has just become a value or thing of people understanding art is art, beauty is beauty, all everything. Pero kung walang God that initiates beauty or that reasoning, then we're robots. Wala tayong free will. We are just electric impulses. We are just vibrations of atoms that we are not. Imagine yung moments mo with Dennis, Tina, that kilig moments. What? Those are just electric currents and chemical reactions? No, those were moments that are inexplainable. But kasi some people don't want to dive into that line of thinking because they don't want to surrender to a bigger being, to a creator, to a God, because people want to be in control.
I
Yun.
I think people really view religion and science to be two separate things that cannot mix. And I don't think that's true. You're right. Science, as you have said, is a discipline that discovers what's already existing in the world, in the universe, the planet, right? Science doesn't really create anything from scratch. Whatever technology, science that's out there, you still have to take from what's already existing to make something. And
Yeah.
that thing that's already existing has to have started somewhere. Personally, for me, this argument from the creator, the world around us, nature, ourselves, the body, there is a very intelligent and deliberate design behind all of this. And because what is the argument? Counter argument is that everything just happened to evolve in this way, just spontaneously came together, and here we are. Because I feel like that's a bigger leap of faith than having an intelligent designer behind all of this.
Imagine nyo lang yung Earth, we just move a little bit off axis by a few degrees, we're dead.
Right. I mean, and these things are so normal to us because we've been born into a world that is already existing this way. But every single day, our life is sustained by this planet. And as Brother Jay said, so many things have to be aligned at a certain level for life to be sustained the way it is right now. But we just take it all for granted.
That's science.
Right. And science is in the realm of creation.
Yeah.
And so it is still within God's realm. Insta Harry, where are you in all of this?
I agree.
Oh, how nice of you. Okay, next, move on. Question, then joke.
No, that was right. We can believe that God is real with the things we see around us. Even imagine the world is rotating so fast, pero nararamdaman ba natin? Di ba, we don't, but it's suspended in the space, and the Earth is the only place where life is possible. Right now, there are what do you call this? They go to Mars or they look for different planets where we can live. But actually, God has given us this Earth, the place where we can live. At maraming mga bagay tayo na we take for granted because it is just right there from the time that we lived until lumaki na tayo and all. But maraming mga amazing things na makikita natin that science tries to discover, pero actually makikita na rin natin in the scripture, in the Bible. I'm not sure if you heard about yung nakasulat sa Job, because 500 years ago, that's the time when scientists started to discover about the Earth moving around the sun and all this stuff. But actually, 3,000 years before that, when the book of Job was written, it was already mentioned there that the Earth is suspended over nothing. So lumulutang talaga siya.
There's a verse like that?
Yes. Paano masusulat yun ni Job kung wala siyang alam? Or I mean, if God did not reveal this to his people.
What
And
verse
not
is
only,
this? I'm so sorry.
Job chapter 26. Let me check. 26 verse 7.
Oh, look at Tina. She has her Bible out. Look at her.
442 page.
I'm sorry, what verse again?
Job
Job.
26 verse 7.
Job chapter 26 verse 7.
Nakalagay doon,
Wow.
He suspends the earth over nothing. And not only that, di ba before, the people were thinking na the earth was flat. And actually, some of them still believe right now na.
Oh, the flat earthers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pero in the Bible, in the book of Isaiah, nakasulat doon na bilog yung mundo since the earth was founded. So, di ba amazing? Isaiah was written like 2,600 years ago from our time, right?
Oh my
2,700 years
gosh.
ago from our time right now. But it's already written in the Bible. So, there are so many amazing things na hindi lang yung science, yung makakapag-prove, but it was already written in the Bible. And also us, human beings, di ba? We are
Tina, look at Tina.
Diba? We are fearfully and wonderfully made by God. And our body was intricately made by God na Imagine nyo to, paano kung yung nose natin, nakabaligtad siya, yung butas na doon sa taas.
Ang pangit.
And then umulan, bumagyo, malulunod ka kagad kapag wala kang payo. Or even yung heart natin, bakit na dito siya? Bakit na protektahan ng chest ng ribs natin? Paano kung yung heart natin nasa paa or sa toenail? Sa toe.
Toenail.
Kapag naipit yung durog na kagad yung puso mo, paano ka magmamahal?
Whoa.
And then, but seriously, everything in our body was purposed by God. Imagine, kaya tayo may skeleton, may framework yung body natin. All of these things, ultimately, what I'm just trying to say is that God is our creator, just like what Brother G mentioned a while ago. And to the point na, kanina nabanggit din ni Sam that people cannot create on their own. Even kahit single grass, it cannot be made by any human beings. At ang science, ang kaya niya lang gawin ay maybe mag-clone, but not really create anything from scratch. What science do is that it discovers things, and basically what God can do is to create things. But eventually, even though science try its best na mag-discover ng mga new things, eventually it would lead them to the creator.
Right. Di ba ang daming scientists na who are also believers? I think the deeper you go into this stuff, you really hit a wall. And you have to concede, like, okay, this is not human made anymore. There's no explanation for this. I mean, fine, maybe things are still unfolding, but right now, with what's available to us, the convincing argument for me is that there is a creator who made all of this.
Pwede ba i-share ako? Kasi ganito talaga ako ka-nerdy. So, nahanap nila yung parang sa deep space, yung mga quark atoms and ganyan. So, na-find na nila ng 2000. And they were ready to parang map out the universe. And then, failure after failure, until today, 20 years, 21 years, meron silang hindi ma-figure out na something that holds something. So, sabi ko, oh wow, this is so cool. May parang may field na hindi nila ma-compute, kasi ba kailangan para ima-math nila yun para magsama-sama. So, hindi mo figure out yung scientists ngayon na something that holds the universe. Kasi everything vibrates Our chair, our TV, everything is a vibration. There is some submolecular quantum vibration that they cannot fathom right now. It's taking them 20 plus years of pure science and high tech na hindi nila maano yung. So talagang na-excite ako on like Lord, ano kaya yung pero, grabe talaga. Sorry, sobrang wala lang kasi hindi naman gusto kong i-down yung science pero like wow. Like
I love seeing this side of Brother JPaul. It's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
OMG. Okay. So, na-discover nila, hindi pa rin?
Hindi pa. Until today, 21 years. As in like, may pastor na sobrang, when I heard his talk, na naiyak ako sa ganda. Si Pastor Louis Gigli. I think we talked about it a few episodes ago. So, scientist siya before siya naging pastor, parang yung passion, the church passion is a youth movement. So nung nag-research about God, the existence of God, yung scientific understanding, nahanap nila that there's a word called laminin. Laminin is the thing that binds cells together. And when you put laminin in a microscope, it is shaped in the image of the cross.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Can you spell that? I-google
Laminin.
Laminin talaga. Okay.
Yeah. Tapos ang galing kasi what they also did was because everything is like vibrating, diba? So they parang put a super ultra mega microphone sa galaxy. Tapos nalaman nila every matter may sound na ini-emit. Tapos doon nila parang na-reflect na, everything there's a verse, I think, in some or in the Gospels that all creation worships God. That there is a sound that everything emits of worship. So parang, I'll send you the link. Talaga nung narinig ko yung talk na yun, parang, Lord, I love you. Parang
Ooh,
ganun. It's just
I'd
one of my
love.
favorite talks one of my favorite talks ever. I heard it like 10 years ago. Hanggang ngayon, naalala ko pa rin siya. Like,
Yeah, please share that with us, Brother Jay. I'd love to hear that too. And I like how we kind of started out talking about the scientific, logical argument, perhaps for us anyway. And then still it leads us to connect it to the Bible,
Yes.
as you guys are doing right now. Before we get to the Bible though, Tina, I mean, so far, does that help you at all with maybe your doubts about God and whether he's real or not?
Well, the minute Insta Harry said it's in the Bible, parang okay, I'm gonna go back to the Bible.
Those verses though, that's amazing.
Diba?
That is
Like last
amazing.
night.
So before we get to the maybe biblical arguments, because I'm sure you guys have some, or theological arguments, I guess another question that people might be asking is like, okay, well, if God is real, then why does he make it so hard for people to believe? And I actually don't know if that's even a proper question, because maybe he's not. Okay. But I think for many people, it might seem like that. Why doesn't he just what Brother Jay said, just reveal himself? Show me something, God, that will make me just blown
Believe.
away. Yeah.
Uh-uh.
No room for doubt in my mind. This is legit. I'm a believer. Why doesn't he do that?
Actually, I remember a story during the time of Moses. The Israelites, they were roaming in the desert for 40 years, and sa desert, you have nothing to eat there. Not unless
40
gusto mo kumain
years?
ng
40 years in the desert, yeah.
not unless gusto mong kainin yung buhangin. Pero of course, hindi yun pwede. And then, what God did was to give them manna. At saan galing yung manna? From heaven. So siguro on the first day that they received the manna, wow, amazing, meron tayong bread coming from heaven. And then kakainin nila to. Maybe on day number 2, wow, amazing, may food pa rin tayo. Pero siguro after a week, imagine natin, if you get used to it, parang, okay, ayan, sige, kain na tayo. And then it came to a point na naumay na sila. They wanted to ask something else. They grumbled. They were not so grateful about what they are receiving from God. So that's the time when God gave them the quail. Ang dami ring quail. O yan, sige, kumain kayo hanggat sa mabusog kayo ng sobra-sobra, bahala kayo dyan.
As in
So,
falling
syempre,
from
hindi
the
naman-
sky, right?
Yes. At imagine mo yun. Siyempre, hindi naman sinabi ng Diyos na bahala kayo dyan. Pero He provided what they need. And hindi lang yun. Actually, in maraming mga miracles, can you imagine that God is guiding the Israelites like a pillar of fire at night and then pillar of cloud in the morning? So God is manifesting something that you can see, something that you can eat, you can touch. And these are considered as miracles. Pero hindi pa rin sila basta-basta naniwala kasi we get used to this kind of things na nagiging normal na lang. And I think also yung one thing we have to consider as well is that hindi lang naman ang Diyos yung nakakapag-perform ng miracles. Because the enemy can also perform miracles. Ang difference lang, counterfeit miracles and wonders. Because he used to be a guardian cherub and yun yung he betrayed God and basically he would work against God. So kaya alam natin that on the other hand, God's purpose is to make our spirits alive through the words na marireceive natin sa Kanya. Kaya yung words na meron siya for us, yung promises niya, fulfill niya. And since He's the Creator, siya yung mag-create nito mga bagay na to na hindi kayang gawin ni Satan because he is just a created being.
So do you think if like fried chicken started falling from the sky today, we would also be like, I mean, of course, at the beginning would be amazing, but eventually it's gonna be normal.
Sasawa tayo.
Ang fiber pa lang eh.
Ha?
Fiber internet pa lang. We now take it for granted.
So and that takes us back to just life here on Earth. This is
So,
normal. This is our normal. So there's nothing amazing about this. But if you really sit down and think about what is happening around you every single day, every second of your life, it is absolutely mind-blowing.
I mean,
The moment...
Sorry, kami ni Insta Harry, normal people lang kami until naging friend namin si Tina Ryan and Sam Og.
Ay,
grabe.
So ngayon, sanay na rin
Life-changing.
kayo. Wala na. Normal na lang.
wait, so guys, ibig sabihin, as human beings, parang ang takeaway ko dun sa conversation just now is wala tayong contentment.
Yeah. Like, we're always gonna want something
More.
more.
We're always gonna want more.
It's never gonna be enough. And we are like that.
Yeah,
are.
because it's our original sin. It's part of the
Mm.
original sin.
The unbelieving heart.
Sino ba ulit
Kasi-
nagbigay nitong original sina to? Itong mga to. Si Adam to, di ba? Sila Adam at Eve. Tama?
Yes.
Dalawang to kasi hindi nag-isip nung araw eh.
Uy, grabe siya. Siyempre, nag-isip naman yun. Na-deceive lang talaga. Gawa ni Satan.
Yeah.
Kasi
Na-deceive.
si
Oo
Satan
nga
may
eh.
power.
Right,
Oo.
right.
Don't point fingers daw to...
Uh-huh.
Don't blame. Pero mabalik lang dun sa kanina na sometimes we take things for granted. Actually, the moment that you wake up, especially for our listeners right now, that's already a miracle from God. Especially
Yes,
during this time of
definitely.
pandemic, a lot of people did not have the chance to still wake up. And so if you're listening to our show right now, be thankful to God and be grateful. Yes, we have to be grateful kasi parang, okay, gigising na lang ako. Pag minsan nga, hindi pa grateful na, ayan, ito na naman, may gagawin na naman ako and all. But the moment you wake up, the first thing you have to do really is to thank God because He allowed you to wake up. Merong kasabihan na, every
Yung-
gising is a blessing.
It's a blessing.
Oh my gosh, wait, I've never
Yes.
heard that.
Oh
Every
my gosh.
gising is a blessing.
It's a blessing. Yes.
I love
Wait
it.
guys, share ko lang Like,
Oh.
I think sa halfway through the first pandemic, the first lockdown, ganun ako gumising. Hindi man ako nagpe-pray, pero pag mulat ang mata ko, thank you Lord. Ganun.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't pray. I didn't pray as much last year like I am now, but those words would come out. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
Yes, Brother
To
Jim.
support yung kay InstaH, di ba may mga tao nagrereklamo, grabe, wala akong tulog. Sabihin mo sa kanila, okay na wala kang
Wala kang
tulog
gis.
kaysa wala kang gising.
Correct.
Tama.
Yes.
That's right.
Ganda.
Diba? Pumapuyat ako. Imagine mo kung hindi ka na gumising.
Diba?
Diba? Okay, see, look at us now. Like, we're talking about just the fact that you woke up today, which we all take for granted. And maybe it took a time of pandemic for us to actually reconsider how big a blessing that is, when we have something like this in front of our eyes, threatening our lives every day. Like, as ticklish as that sound, na parang, be grateful that you woke up today. But it's true. We just don't give these things much thought.
And as a seeker, I feel super, super guilty na parang bakit ngayon lang ako nagsisik? Dahil parang yung buong mundo maggunaw dahil sa pandemic. Mga ganun ba?
Ayan ka na naman. Nagigilty ka na naman.
Hindi ba't
Tama na
bakit
yan.
ganun? Bakit ganun yung pakiramdam ng mga seekers minsan na parang shocks? Diba? Bakit pag lang, pag may nangyayaring hindi mabuti? Like when I got divorced, oh my gosh, yung pag-uwi ko dito, my God, I was crying on my mom. Sabi ko, Mom! Pero it was more of nahiya ako sa nanay ko. Ano yun? But ganun ba?
Oh.
If I'm making any sense.
No,
So-
I think what you just said now about why did it take me so long? Why did it take something like this pandemic to make me seek God? Could lead us to our next question. Where is God in this pandemic? I've had many discussions with these boys on this show about where suffering comes from, why is it even in the world, and all those things. And a big takeaway for me was that these things do not come from God. God doesn't want suffering for us, okay? And so when we are experiencing it, what God can do with it, though, is use it to his purpose. And I think maybe this time of pandemic could have that effect that it's having on you, on a lot of people. People start to now question, like, okay, what is the purpose of my life now? Where is God in all this? It's like, I think it could be making people seek. Wouldn't you say, Insta Harry, Brother Jay?
Yes. Some people would normally really ask God, where is he during this time? Why is he allowing these things to happen? So I want us to be reminded that the power of God is to give life. He wants good for the people. But on the other hand, it's the power of Satan, which is death, suffering, the pain, the agony, all these negative things that we can see in this world are not from God. But just like what Sam mentioned a while ago, God is using these situations for his purpose. And what is the purpose of God? To test our faith if we will draw close to him. Because earlier I've mentioned about the story of the Israelites in the desert. During that time, God used it to humble them, even to test what's in their hearts if they will obey the commandments of God. And in Deuteronomy chapter 8, in the same chapter, it explains that man does not live on bread alone, but from the words that come out from the mouth of God. I know this is the same passage that Jesus mentioned to Satan when he was tempted na, o gawin mo ngang tinapay itong bato. But if we will go back during the time of Moses pa lang, God would really want to express how important his word is. Na we can't live without his word. Because even if we are apart from God, hindi tayo mabubuhay. Pero just like in John chapter 1, which I usually talk about this before, na we know that God is the word. And in order for us to have this life, kailangan natin maunawaan yung word niya. And yun yung magpapanatili yung sa spirit natin na buhay, because even sina Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, when Jesus mentioned at the time of first coming that our God is the God of the living, kahit na itong tatlong taong to patay na sila physically, but their spirits are still alive in the eyes of God, that yun yung mas magmamatter. So at the end of this, maaring nakikita natin yung mga negative things na to, na parang we can't see how near this pandemic would end, but surely God's plan is to give us hope, to give us a good future, and he would want to redeem us and renew everything in this world, kasi hindi naman ito yung original na design niya sa atin.
Right. Insta Harry, like, I know you are always, but like your demeanor today is extra calm.
Beach.
Oh, is it the
The beach
hipster?
look.
Like, yeah.
It's the shirt. It's the
Diba?
shirt.
The boy look. The boy look.
Diba?
Yeah.
Parang, very extra Bible instructor vibes ka today for some reason.
I like it. Parang I
Yeah.
imagine you preaching in San Juan, La Union. Like drinking
LU.
your coffee.
To our
LU.
listeners, if you want to invite me, invite
to
us.
to your resort.
Tapos nagpapasa siya ng mga 5 loaves and 2 fish sa mga tao.
So,
Jesus na.
wait lang.
I
So,
like this. It's not his creation. Kung totoo, diba? So this is the other being's creation.
Mm-hmm.
so just to bring it back to the question, where is God then? He's still in control of everything, in that despite all the evil and suffering in the world, he can use these things for his purpose.
Kaya may salvation plan, kasi eventually God would want to save us from this.
Yeah, it's just like, when is that going to happen? And I realized, like, the wait is so frustrating, maybe. You know what I mean?
Ako naman nag-iisip, like, literal, kung, di ba, si God nandyan nga, anong ginagawa niya sa langit? Nakatingin ba siya sa atin? Alam mo yon, parang, ano kaya sinasabi niya yun? Ganon ayaw niyong i-restore yung faith niyo sa akin boom, bigyan ko kayo ng virus. Mga ganon. Di ba? Boom, virus. Pero hindi nga niya gawa.
Yeah.
Hindi niya nga gawa. Pero bakit, okay, Brother JPaul, bakit ang dali nating i-blame si God pag may masamang nangyayari, no?
That is the big question. I think a lot of people come up to me, and this is just from personal experience. This is not a scientific journal, but like a lot of people don't want to take responsibility of their life. For example, Brother JPaul, bakit binigay sa akin ni Lord to, tas ganito, ganyan. Lord, hindi ba pwedeng sabihin na lang ni Lord anong gagawin ko sa buhay ko? Hindi ba pwedeng ganito na lang, ganyan? And for example, in my experience, may lumapit, may tumingin na advice ko. Tas, when the advice does not work out, aawahin ako nung tao humingi na advice sa akin. Kasi sinunod ko yung advice mo, ganyan-ganyan. Okay. You don't want to own your own decision? I mean, syempre, I come from my experience and my expertise, whatever it is, from my advice. It doesn't mean it's the truth, the complete truth, and nothing but the truth. So
help you God.
It's that sometimes it's our brokenness. Recently, this pandemic has made me just really reflect. And I was surprised with how God has revealed himself to me. Yeah, and I've been faithful in the last few years. Pero yung divine intimacy, ay grabe, ang sarap niya. Yung intimacy namin ni Lord, it just really blossomed. Na, you see in the Bible, pagka dun sa story, it is written na nasa hill, it's a glorious experience. Like nasa mountain sila, glorious yan. Pagka may kwento na nasa water sila, ibig sabihin chaotic yung pinapa-feel sa'yo ng author. Pero pag nasa valley, it means malayo si Lord. Kaya there parang hills and valleys, highs and lows. Yun yung mga biblical concepts. I think we're really in a valley. And like every time we're in a valley, that's also the best time to experience Jesus. But like God, siya mismo, nagkaroon siya ng 40-day fasting. He was tempted. Those are valley moments, low moments yan. But those are our spiritual awakening as well. And ang funny thing is doon, it just made me realize that, alam mo, bait ni Lord, no? Because we'll never hit the mark. We'll never get an A. Pero instead of giving us report cards, yan ka. Si Instahari, okay, valedictorian. Si Tina, nako, laglag na to. Parang hindi niya ginaganon.
Aray ko naman. Hindi niya ginaganon.
Kasi,
okay.
Hindi niya ginaganon . It could, diba? Pero instead, siya mismo yung pupunta sa valley and cry with you. It just made me reflect, parang, if we're suffering now, mas paano pa kaya yung suffering ni Lord to see us? Like, imagine mo kunyari si Covey, yung aso, guys, yung aso po yun ni Tina, baka lang ma-confuse sila sino si Covey nahulog siya sa stairs. Diba, mas parang, yung panic mo, may iyak ka, ma-hurt ka, kasi alaga mo siya . So, imagine mo for 7 billion, I think mag-8 billion na tayo, 8 billion people who are suffering. Imagine the suffering of God who suffers more than us.
That's a good point.
Because of this.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, like, I mean, because we always say God is also our Father. He's the creator. He's also our Father. And so think of him, his perspective, looking at us and what's going on in the world, and how, yes, there is suffering in the world. He does not want that for us. So he's hurting as a father. Plus, his kids think it's coming from him and blame him.
Stop blaming, guys.
Yeah. That's tough.
We tend to forget yung side ni God, how he feels, how he thinks. But to also answer your question earlier, like, ano ba yung ginagawa ng Diyos during that time? He is working. That's why Jesus Christ himself mentioned na the Father is working, and that's why he is also working. Na sa batas ng mundo during that time, it was Sabbath and people must take rest. But Jesus knows that God is working during that time, and we believe that until right now, God is working, whether we know it or not, whether we feel it or not. God is really working. And alam natin that God is sitting on the throne in heaven. And when a king sits on the throne, anong ginagawa nila? They are working. So,
wow.
yeah.
You know what? Thank you for clarifying that, because I actually did want to ask that earlier and then I just completely forgot. But yeah, I think we have this mental image of God when we think about him. He's sitting back with his feet up on the couch or something, and he's, I don't know, having a drink, and
Nakaganon
he's
sa mo.
just, like he's just enjoying the view. Oh, well, this is
Oo.
entertaining. Look at, look what these people are doing. But you're saying that that is not the mental picture that we should have when we think of God and what he's doing right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Why did I say yeah? I never say that. Anyway.
Boy. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Lala.
Oh my. Wow.
Hindi, word na lang, word. Kasi sa Bible, word.
Right,
Alin hindi
right.
bad.
Then let's get to the last question, which is fine. This is not from God. Would you say all suffering then, not just this pandemic, but every suffering that every human being has experienced?
Ooh.
Although I think we do have to also point out that sometimes we create the problems ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't
di
take
ba?
we don't take accountability for the decisions that we make.
Simple
But-
nga lang daw ang buhay, Sam.
Mm.
It's us that make it complicated.
Right.
But that is a great question. All suffering ba is by the other one? Gawa nung isa?
So, first of all, yung suffering talaga originally is coming from the enemy, from Satan. But just like what we just discussed a while ago, na we also have to take part. For example, nakalagay na bawal tumawid dito. Pero tumawid ka pa rin, nasagasaan ka. So kasalanan ba yun ng kasalanan ba yun ng Diyos? Yung ba yung gusto ng Diyos? Nagkaroon ng sign doon na bawal tumawid, and yet when you get into an accident, ang tendency sa tao, yun, sisihin yung nangyari and even sisihin yung enemy. Pero yun nga, we also have to balance then na itong suffering na to, kaya ko ba siya pinagdadaanan ngayon ay dahil consequence ng ginawa ko, or is just mainly because Satan is working para pagdaanan ko to. But at the end of the day, whether na-experience natin yun, still God can, He can make good out of it. God works for the good of those who love Him. So,
while I was listening to Insta Harry and also kind of thinking about this, even our sinful nature kasi, to an extent, we can blame on the enemy, right? Because didn't it start with the deception and all of that? However, the part that we play in it, I think, is also super important because we have free will, right?
Yeah.
Because we have free will, we need to exercise that to discern, what is good and what is coming from Satan and all those things. And so, yeah, I wouldn't put the blame squarely on Satan, but I feel like a bulk of it could be put there because even our nature right now, this sinful nature, comes from the deception that is caused by the enemy. So yeah, keeping faith and hope during this time. How do we do that? Because it is such a bleak moment in our lives.
I-share lang ako, guys. Kasi yung huling podcast where I guested, ang pinag-usapan is ano daw natutunan nung mga bagong skills, ng pandemic. Wala akong na-contribute. Kasi wala talaga akong natutunan. But you know what? I said, and proudly I said, hey, I think I started reading the Bible, and that's a huge accomplishment. More than anything. Napalapit ako sa kanya. Amen. So, tsaka na yung skills. Madami na ako nun eh. Ganun. Word.
Okay. All right. Faith and hope during this time. What words of encouragement do we have for everyone?
Or anything in the Bible. Din sa Hari. Kasi sinabi ko din kay Sam isang araw, I felt like such a loser. Parang ako lang ata yung Hindi naman sa mundo, baka dito lang sa Pilipinas, yung walang favorite na Bible verse.
Sinabi niya talaga yan sa
As
akin.
in,
Tapos sabi ko nga, ako nga, buong chapter yung akin, wala pa rin akong verse eh.
diba? Pero madami ako mga songs na religious songs na gusto. Pero sabi ko, ba't parang Bible verse? Alam mo yun? Like, diba? Para so, and then my friend Jane said that it's gonna come to me as I read it. So,
Yes!
yeah. So, yeah. Ang dami nito. Makapal pa to. Give
No
me time,
pressure.
guys. I'll get
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
Faith and hope during this time. I think we can start with reminding ourselves again this pandemic that we see. Even God is being heartbroken during this time at gusto niya i-restore itong mga bagay na to. And that's why it's important for us to understand His word, because if we understand His word and we know His plan, it would give us hope. It would help us to keep our faith in Him. Kasi ang plano niya sa dulo ng lahat ng paghihirap na to, ng mga bagay na to, that He will restore everything. Yung salvation plan na gusto niyang tuparin, magkakaroon ng katuparan. So, we just also have to consider that God has a perfect time para gawin to mga bagay na to. And I know during this time, lahat naman tayo nahirapan. I don't want to sound na, ay, kasi Bible instructor naman yan, parang he's out of touch, parang hindi naman niya ma-reach. Pero I know it's difficult. And that's why a lot of us, especially as believers, we pray to God, we connect to God and ask help from Him.
Yeah.
But when we pray to God, we just don't have our faith in Him, but we also have to act on it. Because diba, the scripture tells us that the faith without action is dead. So when we ask help from God, dapat tayo gawin din natin yung side natin. And also, I want people to be grateful as well, because sometimes yan, may ayuda na nga. Instead na maging grateful dun sa ayuda, because God can be using people around us. Magsasend ng help. Physical man yan, financial, whatever kind of help, emotional. But sometimes we take it for granted. Natanggap na yung ayuda, magpo-post pa sa social media, ganito lang amount, saan makakaabot to?
Nagreklamo pa, diba? Buti nga sila nakatanggap eh.
Exactly. Pero come to think of it, if you try to start counting your blessings, it could lighten up the load. Yung parang, ay, God is really taking care of me. God never forgot about me. He's still there. He's helping me through these people and through the things that are happening around me. So, importante yung pagiging grateful, and we try to see how everything is getting better. And yun nga, kailangan pa rin natin gawin yung sa end natin, kasi naniniwala po ako sa kasabihan, nasa Diyos ang awa, nasa tao ang gawa.
You know what? The enemy wants you to blame God and blind you to the blessings that are still pouring into your life. That is probably the worst place to be in right now. Yeah. Brother J.
Ganda nung sinabi ni Insta-H. Really prepared with his polo. I think you should wear something like that every week. It really gives a different energy.
Antayin niyo yung change costume ko mamaya.
I may change costume.
No, basta I love what Mr. H said, and made me just reflect. Kasi noon na, hala, di ako ready . So parang ano kayong maganda? Tapos I was just like asking the Lord, what do you want me to speak? And just this came to heart. I want to go to my namesake, St. Paul. Paul was shipwrecked. Paul was beaten to almost death. It was not easy, his life after receiving Jesus. As in, it was not easy. But most of Western Christianity, or our Christianity, is not here. If not for Paul, sabi nila, on biblical history, Christianity would have remained in Israel. Ganun lang. Si St. Paul talaga yung, or that area in the Middle East and part of Europe. Pero si St. Paul talaga, grabe. And with that being said, I want to read 2 Timothy chapter 4 verse 7. He was malapit na siyang machugi. When ang dami kasi when we're almost dying, it's either we're grateful, resentful, or whatever. But ang ganda talaga nito. And he just said, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have finished the race and I have remained faithful.
Wow.
And what is his reward? It's heaven. It's living. Ano yung 30 years of suffering for a forever with God?
Oo, no?
There are a lot of people in the Bible who we can draw from when we look at their lives, what they've done for this faith. And yeah, maybe that's a good exercise too. What have these people done to be remembered in the Bible to this day? We still talk about them in 2021, guys. Compare that to the suffering that we are going through right now, which is not to trivialize any of it because this is a difficult time. But perhaps it could give us some perspective. And again, remember that this is not what God wants for us. Yeah. So, Tina, okay, we're gonna check back with you. I think you maybe started off as like, oh, I don't know, guys, I don't really want to talk about this. I'm a little shaky still and all that. After having discussed all this, how do you feel?
I'm good. All good here. No, it's true kasi like hearing it from Brother JPaul and Insta Harry yeah, we do tend to blame God when it's really not his fault. And a lot of it has to do with us. Diba? So, I guess keep the faith, guys.
Exactly.
Yes.
If I can just add, kasi baka hindi pa masyadong convinced si Tina. In the Bible, ito lang yung scripture out of the many religions in the world na merong prophecies at may fulfillment. And this can show that God is really real and He is alive, even though how many years it would take. When He promised something, it will surely fulfill. Just like yung kay Abraham, that his descendants will be enslaved in a country not their own for 400 years. And kahit na namatay na si Abraham physically during that time, natupad pa rin to sa panahon ni Moses. Hindi lang yon sa mga propeta, sa mga prophets, kana Isaiah, Jeremiah, yan. Yung mga sikat, actually hindi lang doon sa mga sikat na propeta, but basically all the prophecies about the coming of the Messiah had to be fulfilled. Imagine mo si Mary. Bakit si Mary napili? Because it was prophesied that he must be born from a virgin. And also, bakit kailangan mag-travel niya from Nazareth to Bethlehem? Bakit nagkaroon ng census na inutos si Caesar Augustus? It's because yung promise ng Diyos sa Bible, it had to be fulfilled. Imagine mo, siguro kung may asawa ako, hindi ko naman siya ipagtra-travelin ng ganong kalayo. Walang MRT, walang bus. But because this is the will of God, that dapat ma-fulfill ito. So those things had to happen. So everything that Jesus did at the time of first coming, it's because He had to fulfill the promises of God at para mapatunayan na ang Diyos na pinaniniwalaan natin ay Diyos na buhay. And so dapat tayo as believers niya, we must be able to keep this promise that we have with God. At ito yung covenant because yung first covenant nasira siya kaya nagkaroon ng new covenant na magkakaroon ng fulfillment when Jesus comes back. At ang importante dito, dahil sinulat to sa Bible, we also have to believe when it does happen. And dito rin mapapatunayan na yung pangako ng Diyos kapag tinupad niya, buhay at totoo talaga siya.
Amen.
This is not the first time Insta Harry has talked about the prophecies in the Bible, how they have fulfilled, how Jesus was the fulfillment and all of those things. And I have to say, that is really the most convincing case for why the Bible is legit. Because
Word. Yung expression natin, guys, diba?
Word.
Dito sa narrow door. Word.
Word. Yun talaga yun.
Babalik tayo. Saan? Sa word.
Sa word. So, diba? Because people will talk about the Bible and they will quote stuff from the Bible, which isn't convincing for people who are doubting the Bible. You know what I mean? But I think with what Insta Harry says, it's like, yes, there are all of these things that are promised and they actually happen, guys.
Happens.
Yeah. So, yeah, just mind blowing stuff. Anyway, so that was our first listener questions episode. And I am so looking forward to doing more of these. I think some of the things we talked about, we hinted at the questions that are to come. In the next episode, we're going to talk about how we know if God is actually talking to me. And we know that God is a merciful God, but how do I know for sure that he has forgiven me of my sins? So those are just some of, and more, but that's what's coming up in the next episode. So keep sending your questions, guys. You can do that by emailing us at narrowdoorpodcast@gmail.com, or you can message any of us. We're all on Instagram at the Tina Ryan, at Harold.Recio, at JPaul Hernandez, at I am Sam O, at Dennis Sia C. And we really look forward to hearing you guys. We enjoy these discussions as well. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we'll see you on the next episode. Bye, everybody. And before we wrap, we want to say hi and big thanks to the guys from Kumu. Kumu is a Pinoy live streaming app where you can connect with Filipino streamers and celebrities. You can use our link in the description and download Kumu now.